It's a subject that may be more controversial in politics, more contentious than whether one should put ketchup on a hot dog, perhaps even more divisive than Cubs versus White Sox. We think about that stuff here in Chicago. It's annuities. In part one of the wide-ranging conversation I had with Aaron Kennedy, we talked about the basics. Aaron grilled me pretty hard on why the topic is so divisive. I'll put the link to that video in the description below and at the end of this video. In part two, we talk about who an annuity is right for. Enjoy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for breaking those down. And I mean, clearly, however people feel about them, they are clearly popular and becoming more so. The total U.S. annuity sales were $62.3 billion in the third quarter. That's up 12% from 2020. So if I'm going to break it down, basically, how do I know if an annuity is right for me?
Well, it depends. It depends what your goals are. It depends what your investing style is. It depends how old you are. I mean, that's the thing, Aaron. Like, look, you were right to ask me right away, am I compensated? Do I have a dog in this race? I do, right? And so when you look at Fisher Investments as an example, because that's what you started with, and that's Fisher Investments I mean, when you search for annuities, they come up even though they don't sell annuities. The idea with Fisher Investments is they manage money. So they want to do the same thing anybody else does. They want to take money from an IRA and they want to manage it for you. So they have a dog in that race. I don't know if that's the right expression, but so they're invested in that. So the thing with annuities is that it's become to where, so you're citing numbers. Clearly people see advantages, but it can be confusing. So the answer to the question, like, who is it right for? That's a really hard question. It just depends. I guess how comfortable you want to feel. If you want to watch the stock market, have you seen what the market's doing the last couple of weeks? It's like, it's like up and down, right? So
yeah.
Some people don't want that anymore. Some people, it's interesting. The one of the pros of annuities is happiness, and I'm not gonna cite a study that was paid for by an insurance company about how happy people are that buy annuities. But I will tell you that who are the happiest people? They're the teachers that finish teaching with a lifetime of income. I have a client who's a firefighter. He's really happy. It's the people with the pensions that have these unlimited sources of income. So as a sort of a rule with me is that when we say, is it right? I mean, we have to know a lot more about somebody's situation before we answer that question.
Right. Well, and I think that goes back to one of your essential tenets, which is your favorite book, The Psychology of Money, right?
Right.
How we define wealth. All right, let's move through a couple other things though, because when I was, when we were kind of prepping for this, I wanted to know, well, who is an annuity right for? You said, well, number one, of course, people are living longer, right? So knowing that you're going to have guaranteed money is a huge load off, because I think if you ask people, what's your number one fear of retirement? It's that you're going to run out of money, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Well, so yes, so people are living longer, and but even if they were living, not as long, right? I know some of the stats can fluctuate on longevity, but so what an income rider does in an insurance contract is what it does is it guarantees a rate of income for the rest of your life. Now, these contracts, right? So Fisher Investments says that an annuity is a return of capital, not a return on capital. But what happens with an annuities is that when the contract is no longer, right, when there's no more money in the contract, the annuity continues to pay until the later of you or your spouse dying, if that's the way it's set up. So it's very similar to if a police officer has a pension and he collects, but he dies a little bit before, let's say he dies when he's 73. The money that's left over is paying the police officer that lives to be 87 or 90. With an annuity, the risk that the insurance company is taking is that you're going to live a moderately long life. Some people will live a lot longer. Some people won't live as long. But the idea is that once that bucket is empty, meaning that they've distributed money and there are fees, which I know we'll get to. Once that bucket is empty, it continues to throw money until the later of you and your spouse passing away. So that can be a comfort for people.
Right.
Daryl, do you think people like our videos? Beats me. How do we find out? We can ask them. How? Like this. If you like our videos, give us a thumbs up below. Anything else? Yes, subscribe. This way you'll see our content right away. Tell the viewers why we do this. To help them create safety, simplicity, and most of all, financial strength in the future. Got it. To subscribe, just click the button below. Now back to our regularly scheduled video.
Right. And then you did touch on this already, but I just want to bring it up. The stock market is unpredictable. And when we talk about trying to time your retirement with the stock market and how you have to become more conservative so that you don't have sequence risk where you're pulling more money out when the market is in a downturn. I mean, I know for me, and again, like you say all the time, Daryl, it's what you're comfortable with. That kind of risk does make me anxious.
Well, so it's not a look. Here's the problem. There's no line in your spreadsheet for comfort. There's no metric for comfort. If you ask me, if you want to compare the returns of the S&P, or you want to talk about various investing strategies as they pertain to an annuity, you can make any analysis show anything. But the key then is the variable that is not in there is your comfort. Are you going to be comfortable? So yeah, I mean, it's the stock market is unpredictable, but if you look at the long range of the stock market, it goes up. But some people don't want that, right? They don't want that. You mentioned sequence of returns risks, right? So that what that means is if you retire into a bad period of time in the market, and then your investments are falling and you're taking money out as they're falling, that's not a recipe for great success and longevity in life. So, but I think a lot of it is comfort. That's why I keep going back to the pensions, right? So, it used to be 75% of people had pensions. Now it's like 11%.
Right.
So now we will get to retirement age with a bucket of money, however much, right? And we've also talked about this, Aaron. It's not how much you have, it's how much you spend. We'll get there with a bucket of money. And then the question is, how do you spend that the most efficiently? The people with the pensions, they don't have that equation. They get what they get. But for other people, the stock market can be unpredictable. And a lot of people just don't want to deal with it. And I get that.